I give you one more year, and there's a good chance the Knicks will be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Seriously, check out my video. BBN, Jack Frost. What's up, party people? Oh man, to be a Knicks fan. Alright, so I'll make this quick. I don't know how quick I'm gonna make it. I'm kind of long-winded as usual. But for everybody that follows the NBA, not just their team, because sometimes people just only follow their team and they don't know what the hell else is happening. They're like, oh man, Tim Duncan played for the Spurs? I had no idea. Like, there are people that's like that. They'll be like, fans of some other team or whatever the case might be. All right, so for everybody that don't know, there's been whispers for quite some time now that Kyrie Irving wanted to play for the Knicks. Actually, I've done videos on before he was actually traded from the Cleveland Cavaliers to the Boston Celtics that the Knicks were one of his choices to go to. All right. For everybody that don't know, Kyrie Irving has one more year on his contract. Now, there's a good chance that he'll come play for the Knicks. A lot of people believe this. If he doesn't, there's just a lot of people believe it, so it's out there in the ether. All right. Now, check this out. This is the thing right here that I'm about to say that makes it so much more interesting. First, as terrible as the Knicks have been in past years as far as their management is concerned, they have new people in charge, including a coach in Fizdale, who is a player's coach and has been seen throughout the playoffs with the young players going from game to game, explaining to them the difference between playoff basketball and regular season basketball, which is a big up. I'm going to let you know right now, if I was a coach on a team and I had a whole bunch of young players or just, I'd be trying to bring the team, not for nothing, to go watch other playoff games so people can understand the difference in the dynamic of how the crowd reacts, on how much harder you have to play, because I think often people don't understand the two different the different energy levels. So now, with that being said, we're going to move on to the second person of this conversation before we get back to Kyrie Irving. And the second person in this conversation is Butler. Jimmy Butler. Why? Jimmy Butler is unhappy with his team in Minnesota. He's not unhappy with Minnesota because he doesn't like living there. He's not unhappy with Minnesota because he's like, we don't have enough talent. He's not unhappy with Minnesota because he's like, the coach sucks. He's unhappy with Minnesota because he says that the players on the team are too nonchalant. You got it. Too nonchalant. Before anybody say, well, Kawhi Leonard's nonchalant, I'm going to explain to you the difference between nonchalant and an inner burning flame. Nonchalant is when we're losing, you don't pick up your play. Nonchalant is after we've lost, it's not a big deal to you. You just move on to the next game and forget about it. That's nonchalant. You don't really want players like that. Because how do you know that they're trying to make those jump shots? How do you know that they put across all the effort to play defense? How do you know he really chased after that 50-50 ball? You feel me? That's nonchalant. Winners don't want that. Now, with that being said, Jimmy Butler has been in the playoffs numerous different times. Jimmy Butler, I'm going to assume, knows how a playoff team looks. Remember, when Jimmy Butler was on the Chicago Bulls, and they was going on those playoff runs, that was about first of all, they had the best defense in the league. And secondly, they was the hardest playing team in the league. Personally, I think that they overachieved because those guys, okay, you had Jimmy Butler, you had Derrick Rose, who was obviously an MVP, so he's just balls out good, especially at that point in his career. And you also had Joakim Noah, right? But besides those players, all of the rest of the players, or the majority of the rest of the players, were just filler. I think those guys overachieved with great defense and great coaching. But that's just my opinion. You could agree different. Anyway, so Jimmy Butler, he doesn't want to be on Minnesota any further. So when I see Fizdale taking the team around so they could see playoff basketball, who probably never witnessed playoff basketball, and he's personally going with them so he could explain to them what they are seeing, I say the Knicks is on the come up. The Knicks is on the come up. Maybe not next year. Maybe not the year after. But I believe them to make marketable increases to the point where next year they won't look like the team that we saw last year that kept losing close games in the final quarter. The Knicks lost the most games last year by like less than 2 points. I mean, by less than 3 points. I think no other team lost more games last year than the Knicks by a margin of 3. Seriously, they was losing game after game by like 3 and 4 points, 2 and 3 points. That's why when people were like, "Oh man, the Knicks ain't shit," I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand how many close games they lost. If they win half of those close games they lost, they're in the playoffs. And not at the 8th seed. That's the point at which I make it. Anyway, so Jimmy Butler's also rumored to want to be a Knick. Ain't this something? Guess whose contract is also in their last season? Jimmy Butler. So now, just imagine, hold on, let's just imagine. If Kyrie Irving plays out this year, and don't forget, everybody, don't forget, Danny Ainge will trade your ass in a minute. Okay, just back up for 1 second. For those that don't know, lots of players in the league are angry at Danny Ainge for the way that he treated Isaiah Thomas. Not Isaiah Thomas from the Pistons, Isaiah Thomas, but Isaiah Thomas that used to play on Sacramento and ended up going to Boston, bowled his ass off, got injured, his sister passed away, still didn't give up on the team, and then he was traded unceremoniously to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Kyrie Irving. Don't forget about that, which cost him millions of dollars, millions on millions of dollars. So don't forget about that. Players don't forget about stuff like that. So for everybody that's like, oh man, Kyrie Irving, he's never going to lead the Boston Celtics. Look what they currently have. Yeah, look how far they went without him. It went pretty far. They might have single-handedly run LeBron James out of the East. For those that don't understand, if Kyrie Irving is on that team, LeBron James loses. LeBron James is not in the finals if Kyrie Irving can play and he's healthy. If Kyrie Irving is 86%, Boston Celtics win. For those that don't know, you got to tell these LeBroniacs these things because they just, I don't know. They just absolutely think that, other players are shit. Anyway, so if you can get a Kyrie Irving who's in the last year of his deal, right, to come to the Knicks, and the Knicks don't have to trade anyone, and on top of that, you can also get a Jimmy Butler, who, by the way, Jimmy Butler is probably one of the top 5 defensive, offensive players in the league. He plays both ends of the floor. He's probably one of the top 5 at both ends of the floor. Not top 5 defensive person specifically, not top 5 player, because you're going to have people say, oh yeah, and then they're going to run off like 8 or 9 players that are better than Jimmy Butler. But I'm saying a player that plays both ends of the floor, Jimmy Butler's probably top 5 at the wing position. At the wing position specifically. He's probably top 5. That plays both ends of the floor, defense, and he is offensively proficient. Jimmy Butler's a beast. And he's big and strong. and he can guard big and strong wing players. It's just a good look. And then you get Kyrie Irving, and then you team them up with Porzingis, and then, God forbid, freaking Ntilikina turns into something. If Ntilikina turns into something, and then you put his defense next to Jimmy Butler's defense, and he turns into a guy that could get you 10 points, 12 points, that's a team. And, oh, man, like, that's a team. That's really a team. Seriously. That's really a team. Anyway, I want to know what y'all guys think about this. I mean, everything that I talked about, you pick something out that you either like, don't like. It's going to most likely be people that don't agree with me, because it seems like there's more of those than people that agree. What it is, man. Just whatever, nigga. Whatever it is. Whatever it is, you pick something out. You leave it in the comment section. I'm going to respond. Y'all already know how I do. I try to respond to almost every comment that makes sense and is lucid. You know, I got this one video where I don't think people are actually listening to what I'm saying on the video. They're just looking for things to nitpick about. And it's like, you serious? Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Bombs. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgot about you. And that's all I got on this one. I'm out. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you would like to help dictate the direction that this channel takes, please leave a comment. All comments are appreciated, whether positive or negative. Thank you very much, and enjoy your day. And remember, positive thoughts cause for positive things to happen. Let's get it.